So White Star is an early stage venture capital fund between London and New York, and we invest between $500,000 and $5 million into companies that have global ambitions. We think all of our companies are going to be great successes, that's where we invest. But recently we've done an investment in a company in New York called Kimi, which effectively takes a picture of your key, makes a digital copy, and then you can get a key copied. And they have a robotic kiosk in 7-Eleven, Bed Bath & Beyond. So if you're locked out of your house, you simply go to the store, get your key printed out, and you go get back into your house. So brilliant use of mobile imaging recognition and robotics to solve a real world problem. And there's another one that we invested in London called Glow Media. That's actually an ad tech company that has presence in Asia and in the US, and they help companies like King and Spotify target and acquire users through Facebook, Twitter, and different social channels. So the health and the kind of quantified self has now become mainstream. We all carry these little devices that tell us how much we slept or didn't sleep and how much we walked. But I think the interesting thing for me is not the consumer electronics piece of it, but actually the data and the sensors. These devices are actually ingesting a lot of data. In my house about the temperature, when I walk about my heart rate. How do you actually use that data? So we've looked at a number of investments in the space. We haven't done any yet, but it's actually personally something I'm very interested in. The interesting thing for me around sensors is the amount of data you're collecting, and then what do you do with it? So as an example, I have this cube in my house. The company's called Cube Sensors. It's from Slovenia, and it tells me temperature, barometric pressure, noise, 6 different things in the room. That's interesting, but actually when it leads to action, when I realize that my son's room has 10 times the allowed or normal level of particle counts, and that means I should go get an ionizer to actually improve the air quality so it doesn't affect his lungs. That's analyzing data and then giving me action. We invest fairly early stage, right? We're not the people that come in with the angel ticket, but we come in right after that. And what we look at is, first of all, the team. Usually the combination of the founding team, where you have the business acumen to go scale out a business, but then the technical capability to actually develop some interesting technology. But what I care the most about is the level of ambition that they have, right? Do they want to be the biggest e-commerce company in Spain? Maybe that's good for them, but that's not what I invest in. I invest in a company that wants to start in Spain or in France or in Finland or in New York and has a desire to actually reach billions of users by using mobile platforms, social platforms. So this kind of level of delusion or craziness from the founder with a big enough market to make it appealing. France, I think, has a PR issue. If you look at the data, France actually receives the second highest volume of venture capital funding for seed, Series A, and Series B. But if you read the TechCrunch or any other tech press, you would think Berlin is actually the heaven for all new startups on the continent. The issue is that many of these companies actually start in France and are France-focused, that they actually, in a way, don't talk like Americans with the bravado of wanting to talk about themselves. But then you look at the momentum, like the algorithms, the level of mathematicians that you have in this country, the acceleration of the ambitions, that's all there. It's just a question of how you talk more publicly about it. And by you, I mean both the entrepreneurs, the tech press, and the government. I think economic challenges are actually really good for entrepreneurship, right? If you have no option and you don't have a job, why wouldn't you go create something from scratch? So the question is, can you start a company with very little money today? Yes, literally. If you know how to code, you can actually build a game called Flappy Birds from your house in Vietnam and go global. So it's the bigger issue, I think, is entrepreneurship as a viable choice. So I always call it the mom test. Would your mom be proud to tell her friends that you're an entrepreneur? In Spain, right, the mom wants you to be a bank teller or a government employee because it's a stable job. In France, I don't know, would your mom want you to be an entrepreneur? What does your son do? Oh, he's making some app again. In the US and China, what does your son do? Oh, he's trying to be the next Zuckerberg or the next Bill Gates. What I get excited about in the morning, or the reason I might wake up early, is actually like having internalized a conversation with an entrepreneur. So let's say we had a discussion on how to launch in the US. And waking up in the morning with like some ideas about how he and I together, or she and I together, can actually go do that. Right? My job is not to be the leader of the business. My job is to be an advisor and a helper and a supporter for the entrepreneur. So the things that actually get me out of bed early are those big challenges that they want to tackle and ideas on how to go do that.